Ah, Christmas in the 1970s, a time of twinkling tinsel, groovy decor, and the unmistakable hum of Jingle Bells spinning on vinyl. But let's face it, what really made those holidays magical were the toys. The 70s were a golden age of childhood treasures, from futuristic gadgets that made us feel like astronauts to simple joys that sparked endless creativity. Today, we're dusting off the nostalgia and unwrapping 10 legendary toys that made Christmas mornings unforgettable. Stick around to the end because our number one pick might just have you wishing for one more turn under the Christmas tree. Number 1. Stretch Armstrong, 1976. Stretch Armstrong wasn't just a toy. He was the toy that tested your limits and your patience. Released in 1976 by Kenner, this 15-inch muscle-bound marvel felt like a superhero straight out of a sci-fi lab. Stuffed with a mysterious gel, seriously, what was that stuff? Stretch could be pulled, twisted, and yanked to 4 times his original size before snapping back into shape like nothing ever happened.
Stretch Armstrong with ultimate stretching power. Stretch him.
He was basically the Mr. Fantastic of the toy aisle. For kids in the 70s, Stretch Armstrong was both a challenge and a thrill. Could you stretch him across the room without popping him? What about wrapping him around the family dog? Sorry, Fido. Every play session was a mix of daring and creativity. Of course, every Stretch owner eventually learned the hard way that pulling too far meant unleashing the dreaded goo inside. An oddly satisfying rite of passage for a generation of adventurous kids. On Christmas morning, Stretch Armstrong wasn't just a toy to unwrap, he was a toy to conquer. Whether you used him to fend off imaginary villains or just gave him a good tug to blow off steam, Stretch Armstrong made every kid feel like they had the strongest hands in the world. Number 2. Brite, 1970. Brite was more than just a toy. It was a glowing portal to creativity and imagination. Introduced in 1970 by Hasbro, it transformed a simple light box into a stage for colorful masterpieces. With its perforated black screen and tiny jewel-like pegs, Brite gave kids the power to turn plain darkness into glowing works of art. Switch on the light, and voila, a masterpiece that lit up the room and their faces. The magic started with templates featuring designs like sailboats, flowers, and Santa Claus. But the real joy came from going rogue. Whether crafting a holiday scene or spelling out your name in neon glory, Brite gave kids a chance to be both Picasso and Edison. And when it wasn't busy dazzling kids, it was quietly earning parental approval for being mess-free and virtually indestructible, a rarity among 70s toys. Christmas mornings became instantly brighter when Brite was unwrapped. While the turkey roasted, kids huddled over their glowing creations, proud as if they'd just debuted their work at the Louvre. Decades later, Brite remains a nostalgic beacon of the 1970s, proving that sometimes all you need is a little light to let your creativity shine. Number 3. Star Wars action figures, 1977. The late 1970s were ruled by one galactic force, Star Wars. When George Lucas's epic space adventure exploded onto screens in 1977, it didn't just rewrite cinema history, it reshaped childhoods. At the center of this phenomenon was Kenner's legendary line of Star Wars action figures. These 3.75-inch icons weren't mere toys. They were ticket stubs to a galaxy far, far away. The initial lineup included legends like Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, and Darth Vader, along with vehicles such as the X-Wing and TIE Fighter. With these figures in hand, kids could recreate epic battles on the Death Star or invent their own daring missions to save the universe. Their compact size made them perfect pocket companions, while their meticulous designs brought the magic of the big screen into living rooms everywhere. For many, Star Wars action figures weren't just playthings, they were treasures. The hunt for rare characters or expansive playsets like the Millennium Falcon added an exhilarating layer to the fandom. By Christmas 1977, these figures had achieved Holy Grail status, topping wish lists and flying off shelves faster than the Millennium Falcon could make the Kessel Run. To unwrap one was to hold a piece of the Force, ensuring the spirit of the movies lived on long after the credits rolled. Number 4. Pong, 1972. Pong was the spark that ignited the video game revolution. Released by Atari in 1972, this simple yet hypnotic game brought table tennis to a glowing screen. where two paddles battled to bounce a tiny dot back and forth. With its minimalist design and endless replayability, Pong became the digital equivalent of potato chips. You couldn't play just one round. What truly made Pong groundbreaking was its leap from the arcade to the living room. For the first time, families didn't have to leave home to experience the thrill of cutting-edge technology. Suddenly, the TV wasn't just for watching shows. It was a portal for interactive fun. Pong quickly became the centerpiece of family game nights, with its pixelated ping pong matches bringing together siblings, parents, and even grandparents for hours of heated competition. On Christmas mornings in the 1970s, unwrapping a Pong console turned living rooms into battlegrounds of skill and reflexes. Whether it was dad claiming he let you win, or siblings arguing over who cheated, Pong wasn't just a game. It was a shared experience that bridged generations. Its simple brilliance paved the way for an entire industry, proving that sometimes less is truly more. Number 5. Pet Rock, 1975. The Pet Rock might be the simplest toy ever conceived, but its absurd charm made it a pop culture sensation in 1975. Dreamed up by the advertising genius Gary Dahl, the Pet Rock wasn't just a rock, it was a lifestyle. Each pet came nestled in a cardboard crate, complete with air holes, ensuring your new friend could breathe, and a tongue-in-cheek care manual filled with instructions for training your rock to sit or play dead, both of which it mastered instantly. The true magic of the Pet Rock was in its humor. It poked fun at the idea of owning a low-maintenance pet while inspiring kids to personalize their little geological companions. Parents loved it because it was completely mess-free, and kids found endless joy in naming their rock, decorating its crate, or chuckling over the absurdity of giving commands to an inanimate object. No batteries? No problem. Unwrapping a Pet Rock on Christmas morning was less about the rock itself and more about the laughs it sparked and the creativity it unleashed. For families in the 1970s, it was a shared joke, a little piece of silliness that turned the mundane into the extraordinary. While it may have been a fleeting fad, the Pet Rock's legacy proves that sometimes the simplest ideas really do rock. Number 6. Weebles, 1971. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
Hey, hey, look at me and Weeble. Me and Weeble go all around.
If you grew up in the 1970s, that infectious jingle is probably bouncing around in your memory like a Weeble. Introduced by Play School in 1971, these egg-shaped wonders with heavy bottoms brought joy to countless kids. Their secret, a design that made them impossible to tip over. Push them, spin them, roll them across the floor, Weebles would always bounce back up, ready for more action. The genius of Weebles lay in their simplicity and charm. With characters ranging from farmers to astronauts, each one sported a bright and cheerful design that was hard to resist. Toddlers especially loved their predictability, finding endless delight in testing just how much wobbling they could handle. But the fun didn't stop with the figures. Play sets like the Weebles Treehouse, Camper, and Marina transformed these little guys into stars of entire worlds, sparking boundless creativity and imaginative adventures. Christmas mornings with Weebles meant setting up elaborate Weeble villages or just watching them bobble around the living room. For 1970s kids, they weren't just toys. They were trusty, unfallable friends that guaranteed hours of giggles and play. Number 7. Hungry Hungry Hippos, 1978. Noisy, chaotic, and wildly entertaining, Hungry Hungry Hippos was the ultimate battleground of the 1970s.
Playing Hungry Hungry Hippo. Hungry Hungry Hippo.
Released by Milton Bradley in 1978, this game turned every Christmas morning into a frenzied marble goblin showdown. With 4 colorful hippos snapping away, it was less about strategy and more about smashing that lever as fast as possible to claim victory. The brilliance of Hungry Hungry Hippos wasn't in winning.
Hungry Hungry Hippo.
Open up and there it goes! I win!
It was the delightful pandemonium it created. Siblings became fierce rivals. Parents couldn't resist joining in, and the clattering of marbles echoed through the house like a holiday symphony. Whether your hippo dominated or just nibbled, the real price was the laughter and sheer mayhem of each round. Unwrapping Hungry Hungry Hippos was like unboxing a ticket to nonstop family fun. Bright, vibrant, and unapologetically loud. It turned living rooms into arenas of joy. For many, it wasn't just a game. It was a holiday tradition that left everyone hungry for one more round. Number 8. Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle, 1973. Daring, thrilling, and endlessly entertaining, the Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle was every 70 kid's dream toy. Released in 1973 by Ideal Toy Company, this wind-up motorcycle and stunt set brought the daredevil spirit of Evel Knievel right into your living room. With its crank-powered launcher, kids could send the bike flying off ramps, zooming through makeshift obstacles, or attempting flips that defied gravity, or at least the laws of your parents' patience. This wasn't just a toy, it was a ticket to hours of high-octane fun. Stacks of books became skyscrapers, toy cars turned into fiery wreckage, and coffee tables morphed into death-defying ramps. Every jump came with the suspense of, will it land or will it crash? Even the spectacular wipeouts were part of the excitement, often followed by wild cheers or groans of defeat. Unwrapping the Evel Knievel stunt cycle on Christmas morning meant unleashing your inner stuntman. It wasn't just a nod to the era's love for adventure. It made Evel Knievel a hero for kids everywhere. Whether your cycle soared or skidded, it transformed playtime into a pulse-pounding thrill ride, leaving no dull moments in its wake. Number 9. Simon, 1978. Few toys from the 1970s screamed, "The future is now," like Simon. Released by Milton Bradley in 1978, Simon wasn't just a game. It was a glowing, bleeping portal to a sci-fi dreamland. With its sleek, circular design and flashing buttons, Simon looked like it belonged on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. But this was no ordinary gadget. It was a brain-bending test of memory and reflexes that left kids and adults alike hooked. The premise was deceptively simple. One button lit up, and you pressed it. Easy, right? But then came another light, and another, until Simon unleashed a dizzying sequence of lights and sounds that left you sweating bullets under the pressure. Triumphing over Simon wasn't just a win, it was an ego boost. And failing? Well, let's just say Simon's taunting tones felt personal. Christmas mornings with Simon meant instant rivalries. Siblings turned into fierce competitors, friends formed grudging alliances, and even parents couldn't resist the siren call of Simon's glowing challenge. Whether you were a memory master or barely made it past 3 lights, Simon lit up holiday gatherings with its blend of fun and frustration. It wasn't just a game, it was a battle for bragging rights that kept the 70s shining bright. Number 10. Baby Alive, 1973. Baby Alive wasn't just a doll. It was the ultimate training ground for future parents. Introduced by Kenner in 1973, this lifelike playmate could eat, drink, and even wet her diaper, setting a new standard for interactive doll play. Forget about make-believe tea parties. Baby Alive brought realism to the nursery, complete with tiny food packets that turned into mush and diapers that demanded actual changing. She wasn't just a doll. She was an all-inclusive parenting boot camp. For kids with nurturing instincts, Baby Alive was a dream come true. Feeding her with that little spoon or gently patting her on the back to burp her felt like a rite of passage. Of course, for others, the novelty of cleaning up mushy food and changing diapers was an early lesson in the realities of childcare, sometimes met with giggles, sometimes with groans. On Christmas morning, unwrapping Baby Alive felt like welcoming a new family member. Kids eagerly named her, rocked her to sleep, and introduced her to grandparents as the newest grandbaby. Parents appreciated the doll's ability to teach responsibility, and probably got a laugh at the messier moments. Baby Alive wasn't just a toy. She was a 1970s icon that blurred the line between pretend and real, one diaper change at a time. The 1970s delivered toys that were more than just playthings. They were pure magic wrapped in shiny paper under the Christmas tree. From the quirky charm of the pet rock to the sci-fi brilliance of Simon, these treasures didn't just entertain us. They fueled our creativity, sparked our imaginations, and filled our childhoods with unforgettable memories. So, which of these iconic toys brought a sparkle to your Christmas mornings? Let us know in the comments below. And hey, before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more nostalgic journeys down memory lane. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.